Welcome back to Smart Money. We're talking about the massive fall that we've seen in the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies globally. But more importantly, what's happening in the Indian market, where volumes have fallen drastically in the cryptocurrency market after the 30% taxation that was announced. And now a lot of companies, projects are moving out of India as well. We've been speaking with our guests, Nikhil Kamath, the co-founder of Zerodha, and Truebeacon has also been sitting by with us. Nikhil, at some point in time, would Zerodha look to offer crypto trading? Now, I ask this because, I know you're cautious on this space and there is no proper regulation in place. But given what's happening globally, at some point it's going to become a lucrative asset, I reckon. So would it be feasible for, are you looking to get into that space?
Well, the more one looks at it, Sonia, I think governments are moving in the direction of kind of regulating it more than it is today. And we, up until the point that it's totally kosher to, do anything with crypto, will not touch it. Like even personally, I have never bought a cryptocurrency or a Bitcoin or anything like that ever in my life. And I think that a lot of clarity is required. The space is still riddled with a lot of ambiguity. And we would definitely not do anything up until everything is a lot clearer.
Okay, so there's that disclosure there, right? And since you've started the trend and you've said personally you've not bought, let me go to the other guests as well. Shashank, what about you? Tell us about your own personal investments in crypto. And jokes apart, you've tracked this market for a while. There are newer assets like NFTs as well that are coming on board. What are you recommending to your followers?
So to be honest, I don't recommend anything because it's a very volatile market, right? And it's by design, it's very volatile because it doesn't work from 9 in the morning to 3:30 in the evening. It works 24/7, 365 days. So even if I'm sleeping, something might crash and it might go down, right? But I'd been investing in Ethereum. I think I came to know about the blockchain technology in 2016 and I picked up, I think, approximately 100 Ethereum at that point, and it was trading at around $8. I wish I held on to that though for a long period of time, but that didn't happen. But if you look at the new technologies that have been coming in the space right now, if you talk about, say, NFTs and DeFi, NFT was something that actually had a particular use case, but only for a particular segment. But the sad part is, I think the hype went a little too early on NFT and everyone just started putting their own NFT, right? Like even I could just create my own NFT and start selling it. So eventually it came up to a point where it is, would you actually pay for this value that someone is providing, and is there actual value behind it? And recently we saw that, right? I think Jack Dorsey's Twitter, there was an NFT that got sold for 2.9 million a few years ago in the peak NFT hype. And now nobody's bidding for it. I think the latest bid on that was around $30,000. So that's a massive downfall, right? And that's because it's not trending right now. It's not hyped up right now. So I think the true value sometimes gets lost in the blockchain technology, or say NFT technology, or even DeFi that's currently coming up in the space, and moving more into hype, which is, I think, not very sustainable and not very good actually from that perspective.
So then what is sustainable according to you? Because everything seems like it's it's just trending for, about 5 or 6 months. And that's where a lot of retail investors, traders lose out their money. They burn their fingers, right? So what, according to you, is a more sustainable trade?
So I look at things that have actually stood the test of time, right? If you look at Bitcoin definitely, as Siddharth mentioned, it's not a currency. I still feel that there's going to be one currency in the future that everyone will use across borders without any massive transaction fee. But I feel that currency has not yet been developed, or it's not yet come, or there's not adoption for that, is not yet kicked in yet. So I feel if you look at currencies like Ethereum that have actually been there for a very long period of time, and say one of the big exchanges like Binance or even Coinbase that are there, Coinbase not so sure, but Binance has been there for a very long period of time. I think these are stuff that I'm more comfortable to take some bets in, but I always say that I don't think you should put a massive chunk into it. I would basically put like 4 or 5% of my entire portfolio at that point. Even that is slightly risky, right? And as you take gold as a hedge, I think you should do that as well. But this would be a small asset allocation that you would do. And consider this like as if you're just investing for a very long period of time, because if you're trying to play that hype cycle game, you might just lose, right? So don't just wait for someone to tweet about some meme coin, which might just shoot up. You'll never catch that wave. So just stay invested and just relax for a long period of time.
Okay, so Nikhil is saying he won't touch cryptos. You're saying don't have more than a 3-4% in your portfolio, and you know, forget about it. If you put that money, forget. So Siddharth, clearly what's happening here is the government was perhaps trying to get more people into the tax bracket, but what they did eventually is kill the crypto trade in some way, right? With this onerous taxation, now people moving out. What do you think the government can do? Of course, it's a process that's evolving. I mean, it'll take time for the government as well to understand what's happening here. But what do you think they should do to get more people into this asset class?
I think, I clearly understand, where government is coming from. It's not something that you can just, flip a switch and say, hey, we are pro crypto. There are like a lot of these laws, regulation frameworks that has been built over so many years, and the whole cryptocurrency market, how blockchain evolves, which is more of a global economy, right? Imagine we have all the country level of economy, country currency. Now we are talking about an internet money, right? It's a very, very new concept by itself. It's like how the kingdom economy evolved to a country economy, right? So these small things became big. And now we are going more global, which is a unified internet economy. So it's a change, and definitely there's a lot of friction that will be there for them to even adopt to. I remember the drone time, right? When drones were becoming more popular, there were a lot of drone startups out of India. But India took a very, very strong, step against drones, the regulations around it. But eventually they got it, right? Now they understand how to regulate it and do that. So I think it's more about giving the time and, sort of following more better examples across the world. Some countries are very pro, some countries are very cautious. Some countries are like, let's just see it as a sandbox. I think pretty optimistic about how India would look into. And it's just about time how we see this. From a taxation point of view, I think it's still fine. I know 30% is too high, but that is still not very bad for some people who are doing it at a high volume rate, right? Because they already fall into those brackets. What I'm a little disappointed about is the offsetting of losses and TDS. It just makes the entire ecosystem a little more unsustainable. Only in India, by the way. So, if that was sort of, relooked and reimagined, maybe we would have a more sustainable growth while we figure out our, regulations around these things.
Okay. Nikhil, a final word from your end. A very interesting point that Shashank was making about NFTs, right? This whole NFT bubble looks like it's going to burst in a very big way. I mean, even the most enthusiastic digital art collectors have cautioned that there could be a sort of a cataclysmic market fall. At least that's what Fortune put out recently. Your thoughts here?
Sonia, I feel like there are bubbles everywhere, right? NFTs are probably not the only domain. Right now, there could be a bubble in real estate. There could be one in equities. There could be one in the US dollar, for example. I don't think any person can really call or time the market in any accurate way. I think the key here is to, not put more money than required in a single asset class and get ample diversification. I think as long as you have 6-7 different asset classes to choose from, and you have a little bit of money parked in each one of those, that's probably the better way to attempt to, get a good return on your investment versus trying to time a particular market or whether to figure out if it's in a bubble territory or bear territory.
All right. Well, that point is well taken. All three of you, Nikhil, Shashank, Siddharth, thank you so much for stopping by and speaking to us on Smart Money. It was a lovely conversation to understand what's happening in the crypto market and to, put a bit of caution on the table, which I guess is the need of the hour. With that, it is a wrap on this edition of Smart Money. Keep writing to us. Thanks a lot for watching.